Hello guys, and welcome to this HTML chapter 1. So in this video we are going to focus on the basics of HTML and what you need to do, or what you need to do as a beginner who is starting to learn HTML. So one of the things that I discovered about HTML is that probably the simplest language of all. Yeah, it's probably the simplest. So in the end of this chapter, we're also going to incorporate CSS, a little bit of it, into our HTML. So CSS is cascading style sheets, and this is a way of styling the HTML elements in a different type of language, which is CSS. And one thing I want to assure you as a beginner is that HTML and CSS are probably the simplest ever languages of programming. So I do have an image template here. This one of outlining how the structure of HTML looks like. So there is this doc type HTML. So this is just a comment or a declaration that we are telling the browser that this is an HTML document. And then there is this one. This is now the document where we start with HTML, and then everything else goes under the HTML. So we'll have the head and the body. So the head will carry a little bit of description of this document, telling it that the character set is encoding is UTF. Don't worry about this one. This number 4, which is meta character set, whatever. The title. Actually, HTMLs need titles, and this is what the browser is going to display. I'm going to tell you guys where this title appears, and then in the body, this is where everything else goes. Alright, so I want to show you really quick how HTML documents are supposed to be written, or the format or the syntax. So I'm going to head into my canvas here and tell you guys. So we have what we call a tag. So let's say HTML, you're going to start with this sign, which is a less than sign, I think. In HTML you call them brackets, and then you write your element here, which is in our case is HTML. Alright, and then you close after closing, your content is going to be in here. Alright, and then you open another one, you put a stroke, and then HTML. So you start with this. We call this bracket, but it's really a less than sign in mathematics, in any other language. So this one, and then you put your content, and then this one, just similar to what we saw earlier. This one, you can see that we start with this one, HTML, and then we closed, and then we put the content inside, and then we finalize with it. So you can notice that the person, let me show you real quick. Let me just get rid of this, and then let me show you how it was. Alright. So let me show you guys. So what we have here is HTML, right? HTML, and and then we close that. Then you're going to put your content in here, and then you close it down here. Put a stroke, and then HTML. Close that. So that's the only thing you need to know. This is the syntax, and this is going to cut across every other element except for a few that we are going to discuss at later videos. So I think with that in mind, I think we should move on to the body. So like we said, I'm simply going to open up a new document here and do the same thing. We are going to say AC. Let's declare it. Let's declare the doc type. Just customary doc type HTML. Okay, and then we close it, and then in our second line we say we open the tag HTML. Okay, first of all we need to save our document. Okay, we forgot about saving our document, so we are going to say that we're going to save a tutorial. Let's call it tutorial 11.html. okay, and the very important thing here is to save it with the HTML extension. Alright, you say the name of your document and then .html. So let's do that. So we open that. Alright, let me just start over. See, HTML. Okay, so my text editor is somewhat completing this part, but if for some reason yours doesn't complete it, you need to type it manually. Alright, by opening another tab, stroke, and then HTML. So we're going to put everything in there, and we're gonna start with the head. Okay, you need the head. So the head is going to contain your title, your meta information. There are some things like where you're going to link your style sheets, your scripts, but don't worry about that for now, because I'm going to explain that later in this video. So in our head, for now, we're only going to have the title. Alright, let's just worry about the title and call this thing example. Alright, example. I'm simply going to call it example, and then that's all for now. Let's head to the body. In the body, I simply want to let's say we're making a page for our restaurant. So in the body, we want to in the body, this is where everything that is going to display the browser is going to be written, but these ones are not going. This just contains the information about the document, but this is what is now displayed. So for now, we are going to have what is called H1. Okay, so a H1 is sort of a heading, right, for your page. All right, or anywhere you could, anything that is a heading. So don't confuse the heading with the head. Alright, this is the head of the document that contains the titles and whatever, but this one is the heading of your document. So let's call this restaurant of ours bistro restaurant. Alright, I don't know whether that's the correct spelling of restaurant, but for now let's think that is it. Alright, so I think we also want to put an image. Do we really? For our logo, I don't know whether I do have an image here that could act as a logo. Doubt if I do. so I'm not going to use an image. Maybe I should, because okay, let me use one of these. I'm going to use this deposit.png. Okay, so before you use the image, make sure the image is in the same directory as your HTML document. So I'm simply going to, let me insert the image at the top. IMG SRC. I think we moved pretty fast, so we are going to add the image later. For now, let's just add the title and a P tag. So a P tag is a paragraph, right? Anything that you need to be written in form of a paragraph, right? Something that doesn't have to be bold and big. So remember, H1 or the heading 1 is bigger than the heading 2, and then the heading 3, and then the heading 4, like that and like that. Alright, so the one only differentiates the size and the boldness of it, but a paragraph is just written like any other text. Alright, a paragraph is not a heading, it's just a paragraph. So this paragraph, let me say now paragraph here, we are going to say that we offer various services from breakfast we offer various services from breakfast, lunch, let me just put a comment here, breakfast, lunch, I might say and snacks, I don't care what. Yeah, and then what else do we include here? I think that's all for this video. No, that's all for this. Let me see what else we could add in here. Now, restaurant, peaceful restaurant. We offer various services from breakers and yeah. So we'll save this. So we are going to head here and see how this thing looks. Okay. Though I don't know where we saved it. I think we saved this in another. Yeah. So this is what we have. This restaurant. We have various services for breakfast, lunch, and snacks. So that's all for that part. So let's move to the second part. So in this next part, what we are going to see is to add things known as the attributes, and also we are going to see some of the elements that do not take this format that we saw earlier. This one where we open the tag and then this format, but rather they only have this type only. Okay, so let me just get rid of everything and just get rid of everything here. Let me just get rid of everything. So typically these types of elements are known as empty elements, and just to name a few, we have the image or the IMG element. that only takes that format. We also have another one called the BR, which is the line break. You break from a line, you move to the next line. We have the thematic breaks, which is called HR. So this one draws a line at the end of, or at a place where it's placed. You have others like the link. So the link is used majorly for external files, you know. The next one, I don't know. Is there anyone who would live in? Things like EM, emphasize text. So let's see these things in action. So we have something known as the attributes, right? An attribute is a characteristic of something. So we are going to add an image to our restaurant here, and adding an image, we are going to add it at the top. We are going to use the img. All right, that's what we're going to use, and then we are going to give it an attribute src, which is the short form for source, equals. We are going to put that and say it's deposit dot png. So remember, for you to insert the image, and when you're using when you're not using the internet, all you need to do is to ensure that your image is in the same directory as your HTML file. So I think I kind of saved my HTML file in a different kind of place, so I'm going to move it. I'm going to move it here, and then after moving it, I'm gonna close this one and reopen it. Okay, we are going to open it. We are going to, actually we should open it from this other end. I'm going to open it. Yeah, let's open it. So let's view it and see whether the image is displaying. So we're simply going to come to where it was, reload. Okay, and it says it can't be accessed, so we need to open it afresh. So let me just open it. So you can see this is the image, right? This is the image of our restaurant. So what else could we put? We have this restaurant, and okay, okay, let's see. So I think I want to end this video, but before that, let's use the link, or maybe a break, or maybe, okay, let me use a link here, and I'm going to say rel equals style sheet, and then href equals example. Now let me say tutorial 11.css. okay, and then we close. So remember, we saw this one as one of the empty empty elements, and we said that the empty element mostly are used to pass attributes. Okay, they are directing us to something that is something out there. Like for the image, it tells the browser to put this image in the space of this. Okay, and then this one is how we link our external style sheets or the CSS code into our HTML. Let's use the HR, okay, so that you guys can see what we meant. We saw it earlier, so we're simply going to put it there. Like we saw the HR here, okay, this one, we saw it there, okay. So I'm going to save and reload that page and show you guys what we mean. So as you can see a line has been drawn here. So that's what the thematic break is. Alright, actually I think we should put it up here so that it differentiate the title from this other part. So let's just cut it. You're going to cut and put it here. Let's put it here. Okay, so we'll put it there. Okay, nice. So moving on, the only thing we haven't seen how it works is the break, how we break lines. So I'm just going to add a couple of paragraphs here. Let me add another paragraph and we say that we make meals, we cook meals for seminars, meetings, and weddings. We also offer outdoor services. Okay, then we are going to add another paragraph like after the services. Let's see the services. No, a paragraph. The services. The services include outdoor catering. Okay, I'm going to leave it on that. So let's reload. But this one it's not going to give us what we want to do. I'm going to break part of a paragraph. Okay, let me break part of a paragraph. Let's say this one. Let me see if I could break it here. So we want to try to break this paragraph. Okay, so let's come and reload, and now you can see the paragraph has shifted from this end, right, to now down here. We're breaking the line. Okay, let me try breaking somewhere here. Okay, let's break. Let's see what's that gonna do. Break. Now you see there is a huge space between these two things here. Alright, so the BR element is used to break lines, break paragraphs, and so on and so forth. So I promise that in the end of the video we're going to include a little bit of CSS, so that we see how nice we could create these pages. Okay, how nice we could put these pages so that they look kind of nice. So what I'm going to do is simply to center everything, and I'm going to put these things at the center here, so that I think I'm going to put this one, the image, and this one. I want them to display side by side. I don't know how I'm going to do that. No, I need it at the center. Okay, I've remembered. We have to put them side by side. Parts that would need me to put them at this one, at the heading. No, let's center things, but first I don't know whether to use okay, we're going to use our script in here, so let me just, not script really, but style. I'm going to say style. So like I said, this one will link our external style sheet, but for this video, for the sake of this video today, I'm going to use my styles in here within the HTML document. So in order to do that, you're going to use the tag called style, and you're going to ensure that it's in the head. If you put this style anywhere apart from the head, it's not going to work. So for the style to work, you have to put it in within the head element. Okay, so some of you guys are just going to put the style anywhere in the page. Please, if you want your styles to work, put them at the head. So the only thing that has an option of whether it be put in the head or any other part of the body is the script. Alright, a script is using another language like Python or a JavaScript or a PHP script or any other script to manipulate your HTML. So that in order to do that, you're going to use the tag called script. Right, script. So the script is the only thing you could put anywhere depending on what you want it to do. Alright, for example, if you wanted to manipulate this image, if you put it at the top here, it's not going to work because it doesn't know what image you're talking about. Alright, it hasn't encountered the image yet. So if you wanted to manipulate this image, you have to put it after the image. Anyway, let's come back to our styles. So CSS is also pretty simple. I'll go to my canvas here and show you how the CSS works. I'm going to come here real quick and outline the syntax of CSS. It's also pretty simple really, and if you look at it, it's very simple. Okay, very simple. So CSS, we're only going to write what we want to style. So you could style by tag name, class name, ID. Alright, so we have things called ID, we have ID, we have tag name, and we have classes. Okay, classes. So for example, in our HTML here, we could decide to give this image an ID or a class, or even this one. We could say that this h1 is class equals title, right? Class equals title. And we could say that this image is ID equals logo. Okay, so those are the classes and IDs. They are called attributes. So those are what we are going to use to style those things specifically. Like for example, when we say tag name, that means h1 is a tag, image img is a tag, uh, body is a tag, but when we want to specifically target this h1, which is Bistro Restaurant, we are going to have to give it another attribute, which could be class or ID. So let's come back here and say, whenever we are styling something with regards to its tag name, we simply write the tag name. For example, if we wanted to style the whole HTML, we would say HTML, and then we put curly brackets, and then we put what we are going to do to it. Let's say background, right? Background, okay, and then we put a colon, and then we say white, okay, and then we put a semicolon. So typically, and then we close. We have to close this, by the way, close it with another curly bracket. So typically the semicolon is not really necessary if you are just putting one star, but actually it's quite necessary. It's customary. I mean, just put it a good practice of this semicolon here, so that the next things you write here also be recognized as, as styles. So what about when we want to style something that has been referred to as a class? We are going to put a period or a full stop there, and then we write the class. For example, in our case, we had a class title. So that's what we do. We say title, class title, curly brackets, we put our value, colon, value, semicolon, then we close. That's what we do. Alright. When it comes to ID, an element that has been referred to as by ID, we put hash, and then the name of the ID. In our case here, we had logo, ID logo, so we are going to put an hash, and then logo, curly brackets, colon, just like that. So let's get to it. So what we're going to do is to center these things. We're going to center image and this one, okay? We're going to center the image and this one, and then the paragraphs, I think we could simply give a little bit of margin so that we push them inside a little bit, but not really at the center. But this one, the Bistro Restaurant, is going to be at the center. So let's head to our style here, and we are going to say the image let me use that hash, and then say logo, curly brackets, and then we are going to say transform, translate. We are going to transform. We are going to transform into, actually, we are going to say margin. Let's start with margin left. We are going to say 50%, and then put the semicolon. So that is going to move it to the left by 50%. Let me show you guys. Let me reload. So that has moved it to the left by 50%, but actually it's not really at the center. Alright, so in order to move it at the exact center, we're going to say transform translate x, translate x, and we say negative 50%, 50%. Okay, so just to explain what we just did there, the margin left takes it to 50% to the left, and then the translate negative 50 is taking it back 50% of its size, actually 50% of its size. All right, so that it becomes at the center. Now this one, the h1, what we're going to do for it is simply to put it at the center here by using the text line. Right, we are going to text line center. So that's pretty simple. We are going to come here and select the ID. We are going to come here and say the ID of title. Okay, actually, what's it? Oh yeah, class title, class of title, curly brackets as usual. And then we are going to say text align. You're going to say center. Nothing, that should do it. That should do it. Yeah, that did it. Okay, text align center and text it at the center. And then we're going to move this a little bit inside. Or should we put this one at the top here? I don't know. We should put no, let's just put a margin. Then let's just put a margin. So we're going to select all the paragraphs by saying we are using the tag name paragraph. So we're going to say P paragraph. So it's as simple as that, guys. When we want to style something with a tag name, we simply use what it is. Like in our case, we simply want to style the paragraph. So remember, anything else that we have this paragraph is going to use this style that we are about to say. So we're simply going to say margin left. Okay, margin left, we're gonna give it like a few pixels. I don't know, let me say 10 pixels, and that should simply do it. Or maybe it's 10 pixels, it's too small. Let me say 20 pixels. Let me see how it's gonna be. I think it's better. It is better, but pixels are really small. I don't like to use pixel always. I use what is called RAM. So I'm simply gonna say free RAM. You want to see free RAM. I like to use RAMs. Yeah, you see, it's kind of large. Okay, guys. So let's add a little bit of spice into our restaurant here and say copyright 2024. So we are going to use an element called footer, which is going to be here. Let's use an element called footer, and the footer is going to be, we are going to say bistro, and the copy is and the copy here is a way of writing the art. Okay, that is that thing of art 2024, this one. Okay, so I'm going to say all rights reserved. Let me just say all rights reserved. Okay, and use this one, Mr. Copyrights, copyrights, copyrights. Let me just get rid of this and put it just one. Bistro. Alright, so we're going to style that too. But first, let's see. Okay, this is what we have, guys. See, this one, all rights reserved, copyright at Bistro 2024. So I want to put it down somewhere here. Okay, I want to put it down somewhere here at the center. So simply, we are going to I'm going to style it using the tab name footer. Okay, footer. Okay, and then we are going to say margin, or maybe I want to introduce a new thing called position absolute. So position absolute, when used, is putting something into exactly where we want it to be. So we are going to say bottom to row. Okay, and then we're going to say text align center, and I think that should simply do. Let me see. Let's see. Actually, that did not work. Position absolute. Okay. Bottom. I see. Bottom. It should be bottom. So remember to check on your mistakes. Could be typing errors and things like that. Yeah. So you see, so it's here. Actually, you know what? It did not use the text align thing. So instead of using text align, let's use this other margin 50%. This one, I'm simply going to copy this. So there are tricks of centering things, and the one I like most is this one. It works best with position absolute. But this one, we don't need to say margin left, we simply say left. Okay, when it comes to position absolute. Position relative by default is position relative of every element, so that's why we use margin left here. But for the sake of this one, we're going to simply say
art and crafts. And then art and crafts. Natengeneza app ingine.
Hata na record video ingine hapo bwana. Alright guys, that was a little break, so I was simply doing something here. What we was doing is to push the footer to the left, right? That's what we were doing. So let's check it in the browser. Okay, this is it. Alright, so our footer is here. Alright, reserved, copyright Bistro 2024. So guys, after watching this video, just go to your text editor and start writing. Okay, so remember to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wait for chapter 2, and I don't want this thing to really be taking longer days before I put the next chapter. So this was chapter 1. In chapter 2, we are going to look at a lot of other elements, like majorly we are going to deal with text. You know, even for the sake of this video, we were already dealing with the text. We talked about the H1, the paragraphs, and the footer. So the footer is an element that was added to this HTML5, and yeah, that's how we use it. So we used a little bit of CSS, and we are going to go to more complex CSS as we move in the next chapters. So the next chapter is going to be chapter 2, and we're going to discuss an ordered list. We are going to see other div elements, the spans, and more. So do not forget to subscribe, do not forget to comment on the video, do not forget to like the video. If there is anything you would need me to cover, please let me know in the comments. Bye guys, see you in the next video.